Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another deck profile. This time I'll be covering premium as you've seen in the thumbnail, and this time I'm focusing on Kagero. So this idea is another way to put these standard cards into premium, and this time I'm picking another faded one cards. I have been using the Miracle Faded one resale into a Shadow Paladin deck, which is a few videos back, so you can definitely check that out. It was very fun with that idea, and I further tested it more. So far it's quite solid. It won't be like top competitive, but I think it's a very good idea that you can actually look into when you are having some D cards, also having some Shadow Paladin cards, you want to mix them together. Then I think that's something you can try, right? And this time I'm going for Kagero, and that means I'm going for Vagra Dragres for like playing him in the premium. So what good in premium is we have a lot of resources to gain force markers. We have a lot of strides cards that covers Vagra's skill, because whenever we need to use any skill from Vagra, we need to counter blast, and there are a lot of stuff that helps you to prevent using counter blast before you go into Vagra. Of course, there are cards that still use counter blast, but yeah, that can cover you a bit. And then we actually find a very scary route to go with. The main idea of the fight style of the deck is not by me, which is something that I also like. One day I saw it online and it's very fun, and then I used my own way to actually build it. So it could be different from the list that you see, but the idea is quite similar. So let's start. So first, the key card of the deck is Vagra Dragon. So this is something that we have in V era, which is kind of late as well. And his skill contains two parts. One is when you drive check 2 or more normal units and the battle ends, for the turn one of your final unit will get plus 10k. So if you don't hit any triggers, then you can get the pump of regards. And the second skill is when this card battle ends as a Vanguard, and if you have 4 or more cards, you can choose to discard 3 cards. If you do, stand this unit. So, and you don't lose chain drive, you don't minus drive. So you can still keep your chain drive by having 4 trajects in total and discarding 3, so you're gaining at least 1 card. And then first skill, when this card got right on top, choose one of your Vanguard, and for the turn you will basically get all the auto skill except the current skill that is popping to copy skill, so you won't like infinite copying skills, right? So this, if you put anything on top, you can get the restand skill, and you can get the regard buff skill if you don't check into any triggers. Now, why is it important? We also need to look into our Vagras. Now, for Vagra, first skill, we counter last 1 to pop all the front row units, plus 10k on him, allowing him to restand and lose 2 drives. And the second skill, which is a divine skill once per game, that when this card is attacking a Bravery higher Vanguard, if your opponents have 4 more damage and you have attacked 2 times, you can counter blast 1 and stand this unit to plus 2 drive, right? In the standard, in order for the divine skill to pop, you actually need to use the first skill to plus power, cut the front row, and then restand with become 0 drive, and then the divine skill will give you 2 drive back, because that's the only way that you can restand or attacking for a total of 2 times in order for the divine skill to work. But if you ride Vagra on top of Donner's drive, now what you can do is this. you first attack, declare no skill, and when the battle ends, you use the skill that you gained from Donald's Drive to discard 3 cards, to withstand this card, and attack again. And then, if your opponent is already at 4 or more damage, and because you've attacked 1 time normally, withstand with this and attack the 2nd time, you fulfill the requirement for your defense skill, and then you can use the defense skill, stand it plus 2 drive, and then you are doing 4 drives for your 3rd attack. And then on your 3rd attack, during the, like when you declare the attack, you can finally use the 1st skill. You kind of plus 1 to pop all the front row, plus an extra 10k, and then after the battle ends, he will withstand himself for the 4th time, the 3rd time, to do the 4th attack, and this time because it's 4 minus 2 drive, you still get to do 2 drives. So what you're doing is attack, train drive, withstand, discard 3, so -1, attack again, 2 plus 1, and then standing plus 2, attack for 4 drive, so +5, still withstand, and then attack -2, which is still +2, so 7. So just by doing that, you are gaining 7 cards in total, kind of, which is very, very great. And not to forget, when you ride on your Donald's Drive, you actually get 1 force marker, and that force marker can put into your Vanguard circle, so when your Vagra attacks, it's a 23, and then depending on how many triggers, it's always the base as a 23. So your opponents will still need to keep giving you cards, and it's never easy. And there's a lot of ways that you can still gaining a lot of attacks. And when you are going through all your attacks, again, you're doing train drive, 4 drive, train drive. So you're doing 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 8, and 2, 10. You're doing a total of 10 drives. So you have to get some triggers during the whole process, right? If you can't, then you're really, really, really unlucky, which I don't think it should happen. But that is how you make your opponent scary. And more importantly, Donald's Drive, you don't need to use a single counter blast for that. So when you go into your Donald's Drive, not like other decks with the upgraded G strides, where you get to speed jump into grade 4 units and get 2 markers, you actually just use him with his skill early game, and that can already apply pressure to your opponent, right? Because it's a withstanding Vanguard, and if your opponents don't guard every single attack of yours, then it's quite easy for them to go to 4th. And once they go to the 4th, here comes your Vagra. So do be careful when you ride your Vagra on top. Probably kind of make sure you already can pop the divine skill before you do that, because you only get 1 chance by riding on top of the Donald's Drive, unless you're riding another Donald's Drive. But if you are doing this, there's only 1 chance. After that, you don't have your divine skill anyway, so yeah, do be careful about that. And as a backup plan, I'm using the Rebirth. Now, the Rebirth is also another card that helps you to do more multiple Vanguard attacks, and also get yourself some force markers. So I think it's like when you really don't see your Vagra Dragres, and you have a whole bunch of free guards that can't hit anything, it happens, then I think Rebirth is a good card for you to choose to actually go in for some pressure. Now next is the Rise support promo that we get, that before we get to grade 3s basically. So during our grade 1 ride or grade 2 ride, we can discard this, look at top 5 for a grade 2 or lower. So I think this card allows you to kind of preventing misriding by a lot, given that we are running quite a lot of grade 3s. in here. So it's pretty great, and I'm still pending the release of a G Guardian substitute, and I probably would go for that too. But for now, my grade 2s are like this. Yeah. So this for a on-ride pop for free, which is quite great. If my opponent have nothing on the field, then I can get a draw card. So I think it's okay to do. This just because I will ditch a lot of grade 3s to stride, so I can get to recycle some of them and get to pop something, because a lot of skill requires me to actually pop something to activate. So more of this kind of card is great. So Burnout is here, and then a Gallant Flare Dragon is a tag that I use in my D standard Vagra deck, which is also something that you can apply to Donut Drive, because they will all attack more than one time, and as long as your Vanguard hits, you hits your opponent's Vanguard though, you get to draw one and counter charge one. So this apply a lot of on-hit pressure that your opponents would like need to stay focused and keep guarding, and as long as they're willing to drop the cards, that's where you create more rooms to let your attack hits. And then even is here to just mainly for counter charging and to draw, because we need a lot of cards to defend ourselves, and then put all the pressure through the Vanguard to just keep healing until they go to 4 damage, and then you go to Vagra to finish your combo. So some of the time you actually need to put the force marker to decide for these ones to hit. For now, I don't see any like very great generic Kagero regards that gain power. A lot of them that gain power are Overlord supporting, which most of the time I'm on Donut Drive, so I don't think that will work. So I'm choosing to pop stuff, and then trying to find ways to keep recovering my counterblast and get to draw cards, and sort of different on hit pressure with the Vanguard to at least making the trade-off from opponents guarding a lot easier. And then on the build, I see they are using like a G era 7k grade 1 that can counter charge 2, but it really takes me a lot of time to actually find that card in my storage somewhere. So instead I'm using Elmo, where Elmo is a good boost, is also a good attacker early game, and you also get to draw and counter charge with this card, so I choose Elmo instead. But if you want to use that 7k grade 1, you can use that, because that card, I think it goes into soul, so it fills your soul as well, kind of helping you out. But I think Elmo is also fine, up to you. And then two of the Dragon Knight for a chance to search for the right grade 3 for us, because you always want to ride into Donut Drive, and from there you can go to any other routes that you want. So make sure you always keep the Donut Drive in your hand, opening hand, and if you see this, try to use that to search for Donut Drive if you don't have one, and then any other grade 3s that you need if you already have a Donut Drive. And then mid hat for the extra draw, because we always get to restand our Vanguard, so it's quite easy to make that happen. A Gojo here just to counter charge easier, which if you prefer, you can use the Calamity Tower Wyvern to give your Vanguard a lot more power, because if with the force marker and plus this, your Vagra will be 38k base, and that is already a stride level power for opponents to deal with. So it's up to you what you prefer. I tried it one. I'm thinking of I might actually cut one of the Gojo or one of the even for another one. That can work too. And then I'm using one of the Dumjit, just in case I get PG block for grade 0. I have a grade 1 to use that, and this card got a Riga skill. When your Vanguard is being attacked, you can Soul Blast 1 and move this card from Riga Circle to Guardian Circle. So like even if you are being limited to guard from hand, you can still Soul Blast 1 to move Dumjit to your Guardian Circle and act as a PG, which I think can save your life sometimes. So I think it's great there. And then one of the Blitz Order PG to dodge another guard restricts. And then I do have 2 other draw PGs to just being a PG. So in premium, you actually need to think about a lot of things with your PG setup, that I think you do need to have different options to allow you to dodge from different things. And then keep going on for the triggers, I have 2 more draws. One Dragon Empire OT, because like who doesn't like when you're doing 4 Vanguard attacks and then suddenly you get the 5th, right? And then the reprinted Vanguard 0 type of crit, where you get to draw an extra card for this, which I think is very important. Strive for the crit, because we do strike for quite a bit of time. And then heal guards and the reprinted G Guardian heals, where you can get a counter charge or soul charge, since you will be just using all the heals already. So why not covering yourself more, since they have a better shield value and power for now. Now going into our G zone first, of course, we need a Harness Messiah for the Guardian Shield, and then I'm using Guild Guard for Freeze Stride. And like there are always times that you just feel your opponent's board is being so annoying, so this is like a one-off board clearing. And then Sandbust for another kind of board wipe, a Drachma for a just in case. Usually you don't need to shrine into that. And then I think his name is Barakat. So this one I was mining too, but then when I'm facing a deck like a Nubatama deck, they don't always get that kind of empty zone, so I don't actually get to use this card that often, because it requires your opponents to have 3 or more open Riga Circle to get 10k, 1 crit, and 1 drive, which if you are facing decks that like empty fields, then this will be a good, but I am facing decks that always kind of full, so I actually cut 2 to 1, and that part get into my third Stragenberg, which is a very good restander as well. It gets to pop something, so I put in the third one so I can just use it for another restand at least. And if your opponent's kind of having some empty field because of your G guys and stuff, then you probably can just restand with a very, very low cost. And then a Dumjit that can always suddenly fool your opponents, because whenever they just go in with a Sentinel or G guards, you get to stack his card and -1 drive. So like when you know your opponents have a lot of those and don't have any other shield value, this card is going to be so much pressure, because your opponents will still actually need to do that, and they might think that after this card attacks they can just use G guard and whatever, but this is a once per turn skill. It didn't say when this card attacks or anything, so like even after this card attacks and with other regards attacking, your opponent suddenly go for, okay, I draw PG, I drop a G guard, then you can say, okay, you drop that, I'm resetting. Right? So this is always a good Sun Strike. I'm even like kind of wanting to add another one, and if I'm actually going to, I might actually cut the Dragma, because I don't get to use Dragma that much right now, but Dragma is still tempting when the game is like going to kind of a stalemate where both of us are not having a lot of cards, but I know those cards will save their lives. Then when you strike into Dragma, it actually helps. And for us, even when our G zone is gone, our Donald Strike can still function very well, our Rebirth can still function very well, our Vagra Dragres is always functioning very, very well as well. So it's good to have. And then here comes a G guard, which is a lot of them. Now first, free Dinar Griffin, you just need it. If you don't need to use that much, then that's good, but always get prepared. And then 2 of the Salima, which is a good PG, another type of PG, but because you need to discard 4 cards and then reduce 1 for each open Riga circle. And again, I'm fighting decks that doesn't have a lot of empty Riga circle, so it's like whenever I need to use this card, I need to ditch like 2 to 3 cards sometimes, which is kind of sad. When I'm facing Nubatama, they always ask me to drop cards, so I don't get to use her much. But if you're not facing Nubatama, not facing decks that always cheats your hand during their turn, then I think this is a very, very good card. Even if you need to draw 4 cards to do a PG, right? Because if you have that much of a hand, then why not just secure yourself against OT, right? As long as you don't get hit, no matter how much the power they are, you can just survive, right? And then Absalom, again, is depending on open Riga circle. So that, well, again, I was facing a lot of decks that doesn't have open Riga circle, so I don't get to use it much. Usually, most likely I'm using our Griffin, but if you really need to like open more G zone cards, in case if you want to use your GB8, it's not here, but if you prefer to use a GB8 and you want to make things a lot faster, I think the Advance Guard is something that can help you. But yeah, usually Dinar Griffin is the one that do the job better, and then the rest is just trying to do a good job. And unfortunately, we don't have other like very, very impressive G units for Kagero. I've searched for quite a few, but not everyone can do the job that I kind of needed to do. So I think that's how I work with the G zone. And as I said, you don't always need to use cards in your G zone. Like the most ideal situation is you go in your bonus drive on your first ride, and then you pressure your opponents to 4th, and the next turn you can already use your Vagra Dragres to with the divine skill to attack 4 times with a total of 10 drives. That should already finish the job. And the G units here is like when you don't have another grade 3 while you have Strike Forward, and then you still want to do something else, then that's where you can go for. And then the G guards are here to help you dodge some crazy attacks. If not, even just with a big hand, you can already survive for a lot of stuff, right? And also the good thing is you don't need to rely on the Dragon Empire OT that much. because you're already standing so many times already. But if you can actually get that to happen, then that's even better. So yeah, that I think that's all I need to talk about this. But I find this idea is very interesting. So I tried to build a deck. It's hard to play against Nubatama, but it's still a fun deck to play, because I actually play till almost the last card of theirs until I lose to a single crit. But if not, I can actually stay long enough to deck them out. So overall, the deck is performing okay, and I always like to try to put some D-standard cards, their main vanguards, to work in a premium format. And this is yet another successful one, and I will be doing the Dark States one when it releases, which I think is workable. Saga, I don't think it will, but I will look into it as well, because without the right line to do anything that with Saga will be hard, and also it requires you to use energy, which unfortunately we don't have energy in premium. Wellstra, you can't use energy as well, so it's not happening. The lyrical one, I don't have her, and I don't have Bermuda cards, so unfortunately that one is not happening. But at least 6 or even 7 now that I can make 2 happen. I'm going to make another one happen, and then the lyrical one is actually can happen, but I don't have the cards. So more than half, you can convert them into premium decks. They might not be very competitive, but at least they allows you a room to use them in premium, so you can get some D cards, add something from V, get some G zone cards, and you can just try premium. So hopefully this and the Shadow Paladin deck profile that I did can actually bring more people to premium, because if you are just fun playing with your friends, I think it's fun, really fun to try different secret combos, secret recipe. It doesn't have to win you all games, but if you find a combo that you feel is funny, then I think you should go for it. Yeah, so that's what I do in premium right now. Not always aiming to win, but at least there are some possible resolutions that is fun to keep testing, and just look through your old cards with the G cards and such to try to build a fun deck to play with. Yeah, so I think that's all I need to tell you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Let me know your questions, thoughts. If you have some good grade 2 options, feel free to let me know as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck price unboxing videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.